Hey, Jalen Parmalee here with Parmalee Post Rehab Exercise and Massage. This video I'm going to talk about 4 muscles where you don't feel tension that are likely causing pain. And this video I'm going to stick to 4 upper body muscles that I think are probably the most important to be addressed, just because these ones can cause a significant amount of tension or pain in your shoulder or neck or just in general. So we're going to hit on these first, and then in the next videos I'll kind of talk about we'll talk about the lower body and the hip area. Okay, so with that being said, the first one we're going to talk about is the infraspinatus. So with the infraspinatus would be this guy here. So with this muscle, it's in rotator cuff muscle. Okay, you got 4 of them. It's infraspinatus, supraspinatus, subscapularis, and your teres minor. All right, so they all attach around and on the shoulder blade. Yes, on the shoulder blade. Okay. Now, what happens is with this being an external rotator, if this muscle gets overpowered by your pecs or your deltoids, which it often does, is it can cause weakness in here and eventually trigger points. All right, you do so much with your shoulder throughout the day or throughout the week where you're actively moving your arm around, you're not really necessarily going to feel this muscle activating much, but this muscle does a lot. All right, so it's something that I think you need to be aware of, because over time, if this gets neglected, if all these get neglected in here, then that can cause numbness and tingling down the arm. It can cause restricted range of motion, and it can limit your flexion as well. So when you get to a certain point, it can cause a certain type of pain or pinching in that shoulder joint right in here. So this is one that I always work on, and 100% of the people did not know they had tenderness or tension in that muscle. Okay, and a lot of times there is some type of referral that does go into the arm, down the arm, or in the or down the back as well. So definitely pay attention to this muscle, work this muscle out often, and yeah, just make sure it's something that stays in the back of your head. All right. Next muscle, subscapularis. This is probably the second most important one to pay attention to. This muscle is on the opposite side of the shoulder blade from the infraspinatus. Okay, so the infraspinatus on the outside, this one is underneath on the inside, right in there, and this contributes a significant amount of shoulder range of motion limitation if this gets tight, which in a lot of you it is tight. And the reason for that is because this is a medial rotator, so it does internal rotation of your shoulder, so it pulls your shoulder that way. And if you are someone that sits a lot, or you work a desk job, you do a lot of driving, you're likely going to have over tight subscapularis muscles. All right, and this muscle, along with your pecs being nice and large right in here, they're going to pull your arm this way based on what you're doing throughout the day. So if you compile your hours and hours of sitting at a desk with your exercise, so if you do a lot of bench press, a lot of overhead stuff, so you're just getting this muscle nice and tight, and you're getting this muscle nice and tight, you're going to create a significant muscle imbalance within your shoulder. Okay, and I have never worked on anybody with shoulder pain or shoulder issues that did not have tenderness in the subscapularis. Okay, it's been 100% of the people I've worked on have had some type of tenderness or tension in the subscapularis if they have shoulder pain. All right, so this is one you definitely need to work on regularly. Even if you don't feel it, you won't feel tension there, you won't feel pain there. You'll feel pain by way of your shoulder joint. You'll feel this, you'll know this muscle is tight if you're having restricted range of motion. So if you try to reach back, you try to reach around, and you just feel your shoulder kind of catching and locking. Or if you're doing bench press and you get to this point right here and you start to feel something in your shoulder joint, those are signs that you got some overactivity in that subscapularis as well as your pecs. Okay, so work on this muscle, pay attention to this muscle regularly, and even if you're just sitting there at the desk at work, just kind of remember to get that nice, get some nice release in that muscle. I guarantee you'll notice a significant increase in range of motion once you start working on that muscle regularly. All right, so, and again, this one can refer pain down the arm and into the shoulder when it's pressed on. All right, so if you're someone that gets a lot of pain down the arm or numbness down the arm, releasing this muscle can help relieve that. All right, so with that being said, let's talk about the next one. Okay, so now we have the pecs. The pecs, again, are these big old muscles right in here in the chest, and these contribute a lot to the restricted shoulder range of motion. And the reason being is, again, your arms are constantly forward. So your arms are in this position here, and these muscles are, your pec muscles are being shortened, because if you look at the fiber directions, so fiber directions really help you tell what direction or what action these muscles do. So they're going horizontally, so they're going to pull your shoulder this way. All right, they're going to contract to bring your shoulder this way. All right, that's a good way to kind of think about your muscles, as their main function is moving bone. Okay, that's what they do. So if a muscle is tight, if a muscle is over tight, your bones are going to be pulled and held in that position. All right, so with these being over tight, it causes the medial rotation along with your subscapularis back in there, which I talked about previously. And again, you get that restricted shoulder range of motion, get the rounded shoulder posture, and you get that shoulder pain. Okay, shoulder pain usually, again, is right in there, that where you feel it on the top of the shoulder, which can lead to impingement, that can lead to arthritis in your shoulder, it can lead to rotator cuff tears, bursitis. So just a whole onslaught of problems can occur from your pecs being over tight. All right, which is a lot of you, they are. And again, same as the subscap, 100% of you have tightness or tension in your pecs if you do have shoulder problems. If you do have any shoulder problems, I promise you this muscle is overactive. Okay, and it's a lot, it's, I wouldn't say it's worse, but it's significantly more important to pay attention to it if you are a woman, just because of your breast tissue. Okay, so if you have larger breast tissue, you got more and more force dragging, pulling you down in this fashion. Okay, that's just, I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, there's no way other way to describe that other than you have gravity and breast tissue kind of going against you as far as your shoulders are concerned. Okay, so that's why we need to make sure that we're working on these regularly. Roll them out, even if you don't feel it. If you have any kind of shoulder pain, or if you've had any kind of shoulder pain, you need to start working on releasing your pecs regularly. Okay, I promise you, nothing will get better if you do not release your pecs regularly as far as your shoulder pain is concerned. Okay, so huge muscle to pay attention to, and again, you got to work on this. All right, be consistent. And the last one, we're gonna talk about the scalenes. All right, so scalenes are a little bit tougher to get to. You have three different ones. So you got the deep ones, you got the anterior, you got the middle, and they get tight from how I was just sitting, like this. So if you hold your neck forward like this, if you hold it to the side down like that, all of that stuff that you don't really pay attention to that you do with your neck could be causing tension in these muscles right in here. They refer pain into the shoulder and down the arm. They have referred up into the head. They have referred headaches from what I've learned from, you know, just palpating trigger points, and again, decreasing. They increase tension and tightness the more you look down. So if you're a reader, if you look at the computer a lot, or if you look at your phone a lot, these muscles could become overactive. All right, so these, I would say, yeah, these probably out of all four of these is probably the fourth most important compared to the other ones. but definitely one you need to pay attention to if you do get a lot of numbness and tingling down the arm, or if you have weak forearm grip, okay? Because you just have so many nerves that stem from your neck and just branch out, that if these get tight, they can cause compression on that nerve and just really just decrease that strength down into your arm. So again, these you will not feel until there's pressure on them, okay? Just like the rest of them, these you will not feel until you have pressure on them, all right? So you have to remember to pay attention to your scalenes regularly. You can palpate them with your fingers, so they're kind of stringy, and they're pretty easy to feel with your fingers. So you can just kind of massage your neck regularly while you're sitting down. You'll probably feel some trigger points in there. Spend some time on those regularly, okay? So those are for the next slide will be release techniques. So let me see. With that, what I want you to do is if you go on my webpage at palmpostrehab.com, you will see release techniques, all right? And the release techniques will show you how to release these muscles. You can use a foam roller for your pecs. You can use a little massage stick for your subscapularis. Just kind of get underneath there, right back, press against your shoulder blade. You can use a Theracane or a lacrosse ball for your Infraspinatus. And same thing, you can use a Theracane to get into your scalenes, and you can also use your fingers to get to your scalenes as well. But those are just different techniques that you can do regularly to make sure you're getting the kind of release that you need on a regular basis. Okay, because I guarantee you, if you do have shoulder pain, you have some issues going on with these muscle groups in here. All right, so just don't think that just because you don't feel anything in your muscle that there's nothing going on with your muscle. Always starts with the muscle, okay? Any joint issues you have, it's coming from above the joint or below the joint muscularly, okay? That's one of the things that I have learned over the years is muscles above, muscles below. Dysfunctional there will cause, joint issues, okay? So remember that, and hope this helps. I know it was lengthy, but it's important, so yeah, just be diligent with this stuff. All right, so I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, and then if you have any questions, you can always shoot me an email, Jalen at palmpostrehab.com. Okay, I will see you in the next video.